Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Azir, the Emperor of the Sands.
The name Azir shall once again crack the sky.
Azir is the ascended leader of the ancient empire of Shurima. Now that he's back, he won't rest until he's returned his kingdom, his people, and himself to glory. Azir is a mid-lane mage who summons and controls an army of sand soldiers. The soldiers are an extension of their emperor's will, literally attacking for Azir and controlling areas of the map with their lethal spears. Azir has two passes. The first, Will of the Emperor, grants Azir bonus attack speed based on his cooldown reduction. This goes for cooldown reduction granted by items as well as runes, masteries, and buffs. Azir's second passive, actually inactive, is Disc of the Sun, which builds a Shuriman Sun Disc on the base of a destroyed turret. The Sun Disc targets enemies just like other turrets and lasts for a minute before returning to sand, but it can be brought down faster by enemies, awarding gold when destroyed. The Sun Disc's kills and assists rack up golden experience for Azir. If Azir strays too far from the Sun Disc, it loses tons of armor and will fall even to minions quite quickly. Note that Azir can build the Sun Disc on any destroyed turret except for enemy inhibitor and Nexus turrets. Azir's a conqueror, and that means he takes your turrets. Literally. Disc of the Sun is great for protecting your team as you push into enemy territory. Let's start with Azir's W, Arise, because it's the only ability he can actually learn at level 1 and crucial to the rest of his kit. Arise summons the untargetable memory of a Shuriman soldier that grants vision and waits for commands. If a sand soldier's in range to attack an enemy, Azir's auto attack will order his soldiers to attack instead. There's no need to get your hands dirty. You're the Emperor. Arise operates on an ammo system that maxes out at 2 charges. While there's no hard limit on the number of soldiers Azir can have in play, they do time out after a few seconds. If more than one soldier is attacking the same target, the damage of extra soldiers is significantly reduced. Sand soldiers benefit from Azir's attack speed bonuses, and their damage scales with his ability power. Note that soldiers' attacks pierce through their initial target, extending their attack range beyond the circle you see. Soldiers' attacks make up Azir's primary source of magic damage and apply on-spell hit effects, meaning they'll pop spell shields, apply Rylays, Liandry's, and Spell Vamp, but not Red Buff, Nashor's Tooth, or Lichbane. Using soldiers extends Azir's basic attack range, but only up to a point. When he moves a certain distance away, the soldier becomes inactive, and if Azir moves much farther, it disappears altogether. Sand soldiers are afraid of enemy turrets. They refuse to attack them and disappear much faster when one's around. Bunch of wimps. However, Azir can cast Arise directly on an enemy turret to immediately deal damage instead of spawning a cowardly soldier. In lane, soldiers' attacks are Azir's primary tool for farming up large groups of minions and harassing lane opponents. Now that Azir's remembered some soldiers, it's time to learn about his Q, Conquering Sands. When Azir casts Conquering Sands, every soldier charges to the target location, no matter how far they are from the Emperor. When charging, soldiers slow and damage each target they pass through. If multiple soldiers hit the same target, the slow stacks, but each strike after the first deals reduced damage. Use Conquering Sands to slow your opponent, allowing your soldiers to squeeze in an extra stab or two. Azir's E, Shifting Sands, is how the Emperor gets in or out of trouble. On cast, Azir dashes to a target soldier, damaging and knocking up enemies along the way. If Azir collides with an enemy champion, he also gains a temporary shield and stops in place. Remember that Azir can dash to any active soldier, even if they're on the other side of a wall. Additionally, Azir can cast spells mid-dash to reposition his soldiers without affecting his destination. Shifting Sands is especially useful for escaping ganks and dodging dangerous enemy spells. Azir's ultimate, Emperor's Divide, summons a wall of shield-bearing soldiers that charge in a target direction, damaging and knocking back enemies. These soldiers don't take order, but they do stick around, blocking enemy movement while allowing allies to pass through and providing a nifty movement speed boost in the process. Even if an enemy tries to dash through or jump over the wall, the soldiers knock him back. Get bopped. Some exceptions apply. Flash and flash-like abilities allow you to pass the wall unbopped. And the unstoppable force of some abilities can still pass through Emperor's Divide. Azir and his allies can pass through the wall multiple times to refresh the speed boost. Use Emperor's Divide in teamfights to split the enemy team and protect your backline. Mastering Azir means mastering his sand soldiers. These essential tactics will help your army win control of the rift. In lane, CS and zone out your opponent by keeping a soldier behind the backline of caster minions. When your opponent comes into last hit, attack them and slow them with Q to get a few more hits in. It's definitely the rudest way to deny minion gold from your opponent. In duels, keep your distance, placing sand soldiers ahead of Azir and leading your opponent through them. Move and attack. Move and attack. Your soldiers will do the dirty work while you kite around for safety. If your opponent gets in close, use Q to slow him down and get the troops together for DPS. This will either turn the fight around or ensure you don't go down without dealing some serious damage. In situations where you're feeling gutsy, or maybe just have backup from your allies, create a sand soldier and send it behind your enemy with Q. Approaching at a slight angle, E to your soldier, and ult back in the direction you came from, splitting up the enemy team or picking off an out-of-position enemy champion. Keep in mind this is a very risky play, so choose your moment carefully. Even when you have the upper hand, keep in mind that shifting sands is your only way in or out of a fight, so take care not to go on offense without checking your surroundings first. Here, Azir dashes in without vision, wasting his escape tool just as the enemy jungler rolls into the lane. Hashtag fun some damage. Azir's at home in newly conquered territory because of the Sundisk's tower-like strength. Here, Twitch doesn't respect its true sight and gets wrecked, while his allies make the smarter play, making sure not to pull aggro by attacking Azir and patiently knocking down the disc before advancing on the Emperor. Azir has to stay close to his soldiers to keep pumping out damage. Here, Azir misses his QE combo on a fishing trip, but keeps chasing, using Conquering Sands to apply a slow and deal damage as Nami flees. When her allies come in to help, he slows them with his Q, but his escape is still on cooldown, forcing him to burn Emperor's Divide defensively. Shifting Sands comes off cooldown in the nick of time to save Azir from Ahri's Flash Charm combo, allowing Azir to WE escape and secure his original target. Afterward, Azir kites and slows Darius with Conquering Sands, letting his team swoop in for the last kill. Azir is capable of changing the landscape of a fight. With Emperor's Divide and a deft QE, Azir blocks off Sejuani while escaping, neutralizing her chase. Now joining his team, Azir does three things with Disc of the Sun. He protects his flank, traps Ziggs between turrets, and deals some extra damage. Azir dodges what skill shots he can and prioritizes kiting over damage, staying alive and allowing his team to secure the kill. Let's put it all together in this team fight. First, Azir needs to land soldier basic attack to be useful. Here he puts down soldiers and takes Annie out of the fight quickly. Next, Azir identifies that he can push the enemy squishies into his own team. Shifting Sands and Flash get Azir behind the enemy team for the Emperor's Divide insect into his waiting allies. Azir understands he can beat Skarner with a knock-up and shield from Shifting Sands. After winning the duel and Skarner retreating, Azir closes the distance with a slick WEQ combo, allowing him to basic attack and skewer the Scorpion. Thanks for tuning in to the Azir Champion Spotlight. Please subscribe to the Riot Games YouTube channel and leave us your comments just below the video.
This isn't even my final form.